As has been widely reported, the Biden-Harris administration has compiled the most incompetent and disgraceful record imaginable when it comes to the protection of our southern border. Although President Biden is no longer in office, the country is still reeling from his damaging and disgraceful open border policies. Under the former president's watch, immigration authorities recorded more than 8.7 million encounters with illegal immigrants crossing into the United States from Mexico. This unprecedented surge overwhelmed America's response capabilities and created a confluence of security, environmental, and humanitarian crises. Thankfully, President Trump is taking strong and decisive action to end this crisis. But Congress must also do its part. We must create robust safeguards to ensure that this kind of reckless damage can never again be inflicted by an irresponsible president. Recognizing this duty, my colleague from Arizona, Representative Ciscomani, has presented the thoughtful legislative package before us today. His bill empowers Border Patrol and local law enforcement to protect those areas that were left especially exposed and vulnerable by the Biden administration, our southern federal border lands. Approximately 35% of the southern border is federally owned, so the conditions that prevail in those areas have a significant influence on overall border security. And the large-scale illegal migration that has occurred in those regions has also destroyed fragile ecosystems. The facts are unambiguous. State governments, and we must rely on state estimates since federal agencies refuse to gather meaningful data, have calculated that each illegal migrant leaves behind an estimated 6 to 8 pounds of trash during their journey across the border. With more than 2.1 million encounters with illegal entrants last year, it's likely that illegal immigrants left a minimum of 12 million pounds of trash in 2024 alone. Worse still, this environmental degradation is happening in our most sensitive landscapes, national parks, national monuments, and wilderness areas. Last February, I witnessed some of this ecological devastation firsthand. When this subcommittee held a field oversight hearing on the border in Sierra Vista, Arizona, I visited the Buenos Aires National Wildlife Refuge and the Coronado National Forest. While there, I was dismayed to see trash-strewn landscapes, illegal campfires, and decaying food piles. If we truly care about conserving our federal lands and leaving them in better state for future generations, we cannot ignore this crisis. And by the way, you can see a picture of that right behind me here. It is with this realization that prompted me to sponsor the Trashed Border Act last Congress. That bill requires federal land managers to develop policies and protocols for addressing the massive trash accumulations that have piled up along the southern border. It also requires those agencies to provide current data on the amount of waste collected on federal lands along the southern border. Finally, that legislation would increase penalties and fines for illegal immigrants who desecrate our public lands. Key provisions of that bill are incorporated in today's legislative package. The border crisis's impact on public lands was not limited solely to environmental damage. Under the Biden administration, federal borderlands became increasingly dangerous. Even in strong enforcement years, federal borderlands are often targeted by criminals, drug smugglers, and human traffickers because they are remote, largely uninhabited, and less frequently patrolled. Under President Biden's shameful neglect, certain sectors resembled all-out war zones. Federal borderlands have also become a haven for organized crime. Drug smugglers and human traffickers have directed illegal border crossers towards sparsely populated portions of the border to enter the U.S. with a lower chance of detection. Border Patrol agents have reported being fired upon in rugged terrain when attempting to arrest suspected illegal migrants. Given the unprecedented numbers of known gang members and suspected terrorists who have crossed the border, this mismanagement has made America's public lands alarmingly unsafe. The issue is even more pronounced in wilderness areas, which comprise over 1 million acres along the southern border. In these areas, federal land managers impose severe limitations on Border Patrol's accessibility. For example, since mechanized and motorized vehicles are prohibited within wilderness areas, Border Patrol agents must rely on horses to pursue fleeing suspects in cars or off-highway vehicles. These nonsensical restrictions hamper operational effectiveness and needlessly jeopardize officer safety. Despite their dismal track record, I still hope that my Democrat colleagues will join us in protecting our federal borderlands and the safety of all who find themselves there. Everything in today's featured legislation deserves strong bipartisan support. I want to thank all the witnesses for being here today, and I look forward to the insights that each of you will bring to this important discussion.